Folks, Tommy back here with somewhat of a residue video for you on the Grand Central Station, which is now called the Grand Central Terminal. But look, here's what I did, was just put in Grand Central Station in the YouTube search. Okay. No filter. I haven't pressed on the filter to do anything, so that's just exactly what I got, Grand Central Station. And then you get every detail of Grand Central Terminal explained. The next one is a tour of Grand Central Terminal. Both of those are a year old. Then you got Nerve Center, Grand Central Terminal. And then you got the fourth one down, just 3 months ago, is Secrets of Grand Central Station. See that there? Secrets of Grand Central Station. Inside Edition. And this is their official YouTube channel too. This isn't somebody uploaded a clip or nothing. So this is three minutes long here, and it's talking about all the, neat little secrets of Grand Central Station. All right, so somebody at an Inside Edition remembers it being Grand Central Station. Obviously, if they wrote that. When you watch the video, it mainly says terminal. I mean, they say the word station in there a few times, but not, Grand Central Station. They do say Grand Central Terminal, mostly. So, and then the next one is a similar 3.5 minutes long, whatever, but this is from New York Times, 6 years ago. The Secrets of Grand Central Terminal in New York City, the New York Times. Okay, exploring Grand Central Terminal in New York City. Lincoln Park Live Grand Central Station. Yeah, I might want to watch that. 2 years ago. The other one was 10 months, Hidden Secrets of New York Grand Central Terminal. 360 video, 3 years ago. So, anyway, if we could only figure out exactly when they started calling it Grand Central Terminal instead of station, that would be nice. But, yeah, it's definitely a Mandela effect of some sorts because it's like one of those ones that's just so many people remember it being Grand Central Station, and no official change of name, of course. And we're just supposed to take the update and go along that it's terminal now and blah blah blah. No, I mean, it doesn't work like that for us in the MA community. And so. Yeah, you can, when you see these ones that are labeled Grand Central Station, that's somebody that uploaded this that remembered it being Grand Central Station. That's what it was. Madagascar, 2005, caught in Grand Central Station scene. Look at there. Might come back and check that one out and play it. See what it says. Rewind Grand Central Station. Let's check that. Well, see, that's a long one too. 11:46. I don't want to just start playing it. But yeah, I'll have to check some of these out and see what they say in there, because there's obviously a lot of them that say Grand Central Station, and I believe that's from people just remembering. In most cases, but there's probably some real residue too in some of these, obviously. But we weren't just all remembering, missaying the name. It was not Grand Central Terminal for a long time. So it's just recently changed, or at least for us. Anyway, so yeah, there's another one, Grand Central Station 9/11. I'm gonna go ahead and click on that one, just see what we got here.
Got my work clothes on, full of sweat and dirt.
I'm gonna have to mute it, but let me just see what yeah, it's just showing video and stuff, I guess. There's Grand Central. So anyway, they're just trying to show 9/11 scenes and stuff. We know 9/11 was an artificial crisis, inside job, and there's thousands of lies involved with it, and garbage. Right, so anyway, might go back up here at the top and check out some of this Madagascar, see what it says after the ad plays. Oh, it'll play after, yeah. See if they say Grand Central Station. Grand Central Terminal.
Melvin, come on.
You know, maybe one of us should wait here in case he comes back.
Oh, no, not now. This is an intervention, Melvin. We all gotta go.
What's the fastest way to Grand Central?
Oh, you should take Lexington.
Melvin!
Okay, we should take Lexington.
What about Park?
No, Park goes two ways. You can't time the lights.
I heard Tal Wolf was speaking at Lincoln Center. But of course,
All they said was Grand Central in that part. Hey guys, Tommy here to finish this intro video on the residue from Grand Central Station. And I think I left off with Madagascar, sorry. And it's caught in Grand Central Station is the scene. You can see there, Madagascar 2005, caught in the Grand Central Station scene. Okay, so I'm going to play this so you can see what they say in it. Even though it says right there on there, Grand Central Terminal. Okay, but still, it is always been Grand Central Station, at least in my memory and timeline or whatever. And I don't know anybody, just let me say that, I've never met anybody that's called it Grand Central Terminal in the past or now. Okay, alright, so check this out.
Grand Central Station. It's grand and it's central. And it's Central Station.
And they're Grand Central Station, so they didn't say Grand Central Terminal. Alright, and there's much better than this coming, so hang in there. I've got a whole little film that's going to blow your mind on Grand Central Station coming. But anyway, so let's see here. There was another one that I wanted to show too. This is pretty cool here. Hopefully there's, hold on, let me pause that for the stupid commercial. Alright, this is 60 minutes from
There's a
1990.
battle being fought for public spaces all over the country. In no place is it more apparent than in one of the grandest spaces of all, New York's Grand Central Station. Homeless people with no place to go.
Yeah,
find
February
this
18, 1990.
Travelers with places to go find the homeless an unsightly embarrassment. But somehow, the grand old station, its glory long gone, manages to accommodate everyone.
Grand Central Terminal, the next station stop.
The terminal.
Now they do say terminal a lot in this, but they also say Grand Central Station also. So that's a little bit there on it from way back. And let's see. So anyway, I definitely wanted to show you the Madagascar one, and somebody had one out today. Put one out today, AUS 10, put one out today. I don't know if anybody's seen that one. Let me see here. I'll go ahead and show what it there was the other Madagascar one I was going to show, but oh yeah, The Simpsons. See there, Simpsons recall Grand Central Station, and that's put out by Austin. So check that out. Definitely says Grand Central Station in there. That was pretty cool. Okay, and that was one of recall vectors, I guess, that they shared. So he had shared originally. Anyway, there's plenty of residue, and as you're going to see in this little film that I've got, that I'm going to put with this, that it was definitely Grand Central Station, no doubt about it. I don't know when they started calling it Terminal, but you know, like I said, I don't think anybody calls it that now. So anyway, Tommy here, Tommy out. The film's coming up next, so don't go nowhere.
I would like to have a little information.
Let's see, you only have this one train right here.
Syracuse 345, track number 24.
348, thank
Yeah.
you very much.
Next one is 310, downstairs, track 104.
Bronxville is 330 on the lower level, track 107.
Subway information's on the other side of this booth.
Have you seen Annabelle? I expected her to meet me at the station. I don't know Annabelle. Well, she's a girl with a dashing way. She is dressed very smart and gay. Would you mind introducing us? What a time we'd have in my cabriolet.
Listen, ladies, to my soulful intonation. Paging Miss Annabelle. She'll be followed by a lovely aggregation when they ring that engine bell.
Take me with you. No, me, no, me, no, me, 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 me.
Pardon me, sir, but what is your destination?
Just a nice padded cell.
Let's go out. Philadelphia, Pittsburgh, Chicago, and all northwest. Maybe on track 26. Or...
Over the river and Cheerio, my dear, here's where my journey starts. There's a teardrop glistening in your heart of hearts. Over the river and here I go, my dear, stifle your sobs and moans.
Sir, it's time your train is pulling from the station.
Fare thee well, Annabelle.
When do we go on that honeymoon vacation?
Maybe soon, but who can tell?
Well, suppose, my dear, that while I am waiting here, I should fall for someone swell.
Did you say that you can buy a reservation? Get on board, Annabelle.
A train! A train!
As a bullet takes its target, shining
rails in every part of our great country are aimed at Grand Central Station, part of the nation's greatest city. Drawn by the magnetic force of the fantastic metropolis, day and night great trains rush on the Hudson River. Sweep down its eastern bank for 140 miles. Flash briefly with along the old tenement houses south of 125th Street. Dive with a roar to the 2.5 mile tunnel which follows the glittering flank of Park Avenue. And then, Grand Central Station. Crossroads of a million private lives. Gigantic stage in which are played 1,000 dramas daily.
Goodbye, sweetheart.
Aren't you coming into the station with us?
Oh, I'm sorry I can't. I'm late for a business appointment already.
Did you ever have a vacation?
Oh, yes, Missy. Lots and lots of them.
Are they fun?
Yeah, if you don't have too many of them.
I'll bet they're more fun than going to school. I never had a vacation. But I'm thinking about having one.
All right, little Missy, you just wait right here till I come back.
The station, as he entered it, was murmurous with the immense and distant sound of time. Great slant beams of moted light fell ponderously athwart the station floor, and the calm voice of time hovered along the walls and ceiling of that mighty room, distilled out of the voices and movements of the people who swarmed beneath. It had the murmur of a distant sea, the languorous lapse and flow of waters on a beach. It was elemental, detached, indifferent to the lives of men. Few buildings are vast enough to hold the sound of time. And now it seemed to him that there was a superb fitness in the fact that the one which held it better than all others should be a railroad station. For here, there's nowhere else on earth. Men were brought together for a moment at the beginning or end of their innumerable journeys. Here, one saw their greetings and farewells. Here, in a single instant, one got the entire picture of the human destiny. Men came and went, they passed and vanished, and all were moving through the moments of their lives to death. All made small tickings in the sound of time, but the voice of time remained aloof and unperturbed, a drowsy and eternal murmur below the immense and distant roof.
America in the 19th and early 20th centuries, the most important building in any city was the railroad station. It was the equivalent of a cathedral in some town in Europe. The bigger the railroad station, the better the town. It was as simple and satisfactory as that.
I am now entering probably the most important, most monumental, most beautiful of any building in America. We're standing in one of the great rooms of the world. There isn't anything like it in this country. There's no place where we get the feeling of release that we do in this room. In this room, you've got height to be free, but you have the curves of this great vault that pulls you down and around you again. They knew more about functionalism than all the modern architects put together. They knew more about stone. They knew more about people movement. There's 10 times the number of people that used this station that did when it was built. We never light rooms like this anymore. You realize there's one bulb in between every modillion in the cornice? Those modillions, that's what comes out to hold up the cornice. But there's a little bulb in each one. It's the best lighting system in the world. They knew that then. And the camera's now looking over my shoulder at the greatest window in the world. You realize that window is also a passage that people walk across back and forth. They don't open to the public anymore, I'm sorry, but when I was young, they did. And I used to walk back and forth across there, and you look out over the city on one side and over the great room on the other. It's like walking through the gallery of St. Peter's in Rome. This is the only building in this country where you can do this. That's why it's so great that we've been able to save it for the future, because we can no longer build this way.
This is Action News, Sunday, April 16. I'm Steve Bach.
WABC TV, New York.
From New York's award-winning news station.
This is the CBS Evening News with Ed Bradley.
There was a train out of New York this morning headed for Washington, but it wasn't on the regular schedule. This was a train filled with people who have a cause and an issue which could have far-reaching effects on cities across this country. David Culhane has a report.
The specific issue is whether to build a 55-story skyscraper over Grand Central Station. The city has blocked the new structure for 10 years. But tomorrow, for the first time, the constitutionality of the city's landmark law will come before the Supreme Court.
We're trying to save Grand Central Station because all landmarks are threatened if this one goes.
From coast to coast, there are great buildings, not as great as Grand Central, but of the same order of greatness in the communities in which they exist. And we have to save all of these buildings. And the American people really care now about preserving the fabric of the past.
We have won. Isn't it marvelous that the good people win occasionally? And hopefully we'll win before the United States Supreme Court as well.
And in 1978, the United States Supreme Court, in a landmark decision, Mr. Justice Brennan, I think, wrote the majority decision, said landmarks had to be protected. And if this landmark would be destroyed because a landmarks law was not valid, then landmarks throughout the United States could never be saved.
It's the only thing we've got. We have no cathedrals of this size. We haven't got Chartres Cathedral. We haven't got St. Peter's. But we have got this sense of travel. In my youth, when I still remember, when you walked right in the street, right off to the station, right straight through, and enjoying this great room was the invitation to travel, where you could go across the continent if you wanted to. But the sense of departure, or the sense of arrival, when you came from Chicago, this is New York.
Now that we have had the rice and flowers, the knot is tied. I can visualize such happy hours right by your side.
The honeymoon store is one that you'll adore. I'm going to take you for a ride.
of baloney. She'll be wanting alimony in a year or so. Still they go and shuffle, shuffle off to Buffalo.
You go home and pack your panties, I'll go home and get the scanties, and away we'll go. Oh, off we're gonna shuffle, shuffle off to Buffalo, shuffle off to Buffalo. To Niagara in the sleeper, there's no honeymoon is cheaper, and the train goes slow. Oh, off we're gonna shuffle, shuffle off to Buffalo, Buffalo. Someday I hope we'll be elected to buy a lot of baby clothes. We don't know when to expect it, but it's a cinch that Winchell knows.
It is one of the most romantic buildings in the country, and for the reason that it represents not only a colossal ego on the part of its builders, but a kind of shared ego for all the rest of us who enjoy the romance of travel through it, coming in the morning, going home at night. And every day, it gives us a kind of refreshment of spirit. This wasn't necessarily in the minds of the people who built it. They wanted to say railroads were great, they were great, look upon their works.
I think any time we think of Grand Central Station, we have to think of Commodore Cornelius Vanderbilt. He was the one who began to bring together the railroads, the New York and Harlem Railroad, the New York Central, and the Hudson River Railroads, and he had the dream of creating the biggest and finest station in the world. Commodore Vanderbilt was an individualist, to say the least, and he was severely criticized by people like Mark Twain and others for his toughness, his ruthlessness, and he was accused of all sorts of manipulation.
An open letter to Commodore Cornelius Vanderbilt from Mark Twain. The immoral practices in so prominent a place as you occupy are a damning thing to the whole nation. You must certainly feel a vague desire in you sometimes to do some splendid deed in the interest of commercial probity or human charity or of manly honor and dignity. It was not human charity, not manly honor, not dignity that caused Vanderbilt in 1869 to locate Grand Central at 42nd Street.
The decision to put the terminal here was made really because of pressures on the family from surrounding property owners who were offended with the enormous smoke that was caused by steam railroads in the open pit north of 42nd Street along what was then open Park Avenue. And of course by an earlier piece of legislation which prevented steam locomotives from going anywhere south of 42nd Street. So the steam trains used to stop here and change to horse trains, so it became a logical place to build the terminal.
When the Commodore died in 1877, he left $90 million to his oldest son, William Henry Vanderbilt. Under William, who possessed his father's gift for consolidating power, the New York Central system continued to expand, north to Toronto, south to St. Louis, and as far west as Omaha. In 1885, the small hotels, saloons, and tenements that had given the 42nd Street area its domestic character were gone. 42nd Street was becoming the center of an expanding commercial district. From 1898 to 1900, the depot facade was redone. 500 trains a day were now passing through Grand Central. William K. Vanderbilt, who became president of the New York Central system in 1899, voluntarily resigned in 1903, the same year that the renovation of Grand Central began. Grand Central Terminal is pivotal in understanding the change from the 19th century to the 20th century in terms of architecture and urban planning. The electrification of trains permitted the engineer William Wilkes to conceive and execute the idea of multiple level tracks buried beneath the ground, a feat that made possible the covering over of Park Avenue. The highly contested design competition for the new terminal was won by the Minnesota architectural firm of Reed and Sten. However, the architect Whitley Warren, a cousin of William K. Vanderbilt, was soon brought in as an associate. Warren was a Francophile and informed the design of the building with the high-style aesthetics of 19th century French Beaux-Arts design.
These are the Triumphal Arches of New York. This is probably the preeminent Beaux-Arts building in America. It gave rise to the great commercial city around it, this great city within a city that is today Grand Central. And this, of course, at one time was the hub of a great real estate empire owned by the Vanderbilts with adjacent office buildings and hotels, making 42nd Street the principal cultural and commercial access of the city. The Vanderbilts, through this construction, gave Manhattan the form it really has today.
You'll find a thoroughfare. It's the part of little old New York that runs into Times Square. A crazy quilt that Wall Street Jack built. If you've got a little time to spare, I'd like to take you there. Come and meet those dancing feet. On the avenue, I'm taking you to 42nd Street. Hear the beat of dancing feet. It's a song I love, the melody of 42nd Street. Little nifties from the 50s, innocent and sweet. Sexy ladies from the 80s who are indiscreet. All the side by side, they're glorified. Where the underworld can meet the elite, 42nd Street. Innocent and sweet. Sexy ladies from the 80s who are indiscreet. They're side by side, they're glorified. Where the underworld can meet the elite. Naughty, gaudy, bawdy, sporty, 42nd Street.
Grand Central is really the heart of this neighborhood. 42nd Street is going through a revival, a rehabilitation, an economic revival. And one of the cornerstones of that revival happens to be Grand Central. This is the place where New Yorkers, those from the city, those from the suburban and upstate areas meet, and occasionally even those who come from Connecticut and New Jersey as well. And so it was important to save this area as the hub of the East Side transportation system that brought our various systems together, and as one of the hubs, landmarks, if you will, of the 42nd Street spine that runs from river to river, which is key to the success of the city of New York.
I've got the freight train blues, but I'm too darn mean to cry. I've got the freight train blues, too darn mean to cry. I'm gonna love that man till the day he dies.
In the course of making this film, someone said, there are other railroad stations, but this is a terminal. This is not simply a place to catch a train from. When the Committee to Save Grand Central was formed, they were concerned with preserving more than another railroad station. They were concerned with preserving more than a magnificent Beaux-Arts structure. Grand Central is one of the few remaining human constructions whose symbolic power still affects us. Americans are not noted by and large for our attachment to places. We are and always have been a mobile society. And on one level, Grand Central, like any railroad station, symbolizes that very mobility. On a deeper level, however, this place provides many generations of Americans past and will provide generations to come with a sense of continuity. When Philip Johnson says Europe has its cathedrals and America has Grand Central Terminal, he is speaking of more than architectural splendors. He is speaking of its spirituality as well. It is a place resonant with paradox and myth and a rhythm all its own. There is a presence here that gives weight to our comings and goings. Like Wolfe said, it is a place where in a single instant, one can get the entire picture of the human destiny.
I love you.
See you soon.
See you soon.